Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars, and welcome to my third classic Steven Seagal film review. And the film review I have chosen to do a classic film review on this time for Steven Seagal is a 1997 action film, Fire Down Below. This is a film that actually has got quite a good cast. Obviously we have Steven Seagal. It also has Chris Christopherson, Marg Helgenberger, Stephen Lang, and the late great Harry Dean Stanton. Now this was the film, it came at a point in Seagal's career when he was really environmental conscious about the environment and stuff, and all his films were getting focused on this. And he did the film 1994, I think it was, the what was the other one he did, the oh my goodness, I forget that. On Deadly Ground, that's the one that had Michael Caine in it. Now, whereas I don't really dislike that film, it's quite watchable in a lot of ways. It was very preachy, very preachy film, and it flopped big style because of it. Now this film has a very similar idea. In a lot of ways it's an environmental action film. However, it's not as preachy as On Deadly Ground, and the film focuses on Seagal's character called Jack Taggart, who is sent down south to investigate. I think there's like an agent gone missing, and he goes down there to investigate. And it's like a local southern town that is being it's in Kentucky, and it's being ruled by a ruthless businessman. He basically owns pretty much all this town, and what he does is he makes deals with these oil companies and things to dump their waste in the hills of this Kentucky town. And it's Steven Seagal's job to go down and investigate this, gather enough evidence to prosecute this huge corporation. However, when he gets down there, he finds that things are so corrupt, he has to stay there and fight it from within, if you like. And he meets a repressed southern gal, Sarah, played by Marg Helgenberger, who has been repressed by her brother Stephen Lang for many years. And it's Seagal tries his very best to help the local town, all in the while facing off against these bad guys. Right. What did I think of Fire Down Below? Well, I think this was certainly a step up from On Deadly Ground. I don't think this is obviously one of Steven Seagal's strongest films, but this was one of the last films, I think. I think he probably did another one or two after this that were certainly very watchable. But this was one of the last ones that I remember really enjoying many times when I was younger. I used to watch it quite a lot. Again, the action is on point. He's been surrounded by veteran actors. I mean, Harry Dean Stanton has really got a nothing part in this film. He just plays like one of the townsfolk, but he does it with such charm and charisma. He's really watchable. Chris Christopherson, he's not really in the film much, but he's very watchable when he's on screen. Same with Stephen Lang, chews up every scene he's in when he's in a scene. And the relationship between Seagal and Marg Helgenberger actually was reasonably well played out on screen. It wasn't forced, it wasn't pushed, it was actually quite a relaxed relationship. And Seagal was reasonably laid back in this role, and it was actually an awful lot of fun to watch this film in a lot of ways. Like I said, the action is really on point. There's some really good scenes, and there's a really good fight scene in a lumberyard. And Seagal is really on point here in this film in regards to the action. So it's a really watchable Steven Seagal film. It's one of his ones in, like I say, the 90s. I'm trying to think now which were those that came after this that were certainly watchable, and I'm just going to have a look because it's going to bug me. So let's find Fire Down Below. Yeah, Fire Down Below. He did The Patriot straight after this, which was another like environmental type of film. Exit Wounds he did after this, which was pretty good. And that was about it. They started getting into the straight video on demand type stuff, straight to DVD type stuff, but it started getting a bit daft, and I lost track of Seagal after that. So he probably The Patriot and Exit Wounds after this, and arguably Half Past Dead, that were all reasonably watchable. But I think this was his last very, very watchable film, and certainly a very good action film. So if you haven't seen Fire Down Below, you may have heard it was very similar to On Deadly Ground. It is, the idea is similar, it's just not as preachy, and Seagal, I think, was a little bit more chilled out in this role. I think after the success of Under Siege and Under Siege 2, I think it was probably getting a bit unbearable, and he was allowed to make any project he wanted, really, and he chose stupidly to do On Deadly Ground, and it flopped. So I think when some of the control was taken back from him, I think they almost retold that story in a more palatable way for an audience, and we were then treated with Fire Down Below. So it's certainly a very, very watchable film. There is certainly a chance that this will make my top 10, because, to be honest, to find 10 really good Steven Seagal films, you're really quite struggling, so there's a good chance it will make it in there. So it's a 7 out of 10. It's a very watchable action film, and a lot of people probably haven't seen this one. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming up next week will be my top 10 Steven Seagal films, so you've got that to look forward to. So thank you very much for watching, everybody.